G'day folks, Uncle Knackers here. Remember this? I built this wall-mounted workbench a few months ago and I gotta say, I absolutely love it. Design-wise, it's simple, effective, it looks great, it does what it says on the tin, and is an incredible space saver for those of us with limited space in regard to the width of your workshop. Now this particular workbench needs to be this long to cater for the legs when unfolded to be at a comfortable working height, which can throw a spanner in the works if you're limited as to how long your workbench can be. Which is why in today's video I'm going to show you how to build your very own wall-mounted folding workbench that can be customised to any length you like, is cheap to make and can be easily built within a day. Let's do this. The first thing I need to do is remove all the wall fixings from the previous wall-mounted bench to give us a clean slate to be able to mark the height of the new ledger board that is going to support the new fold-down workbench. And with that all sorted, it's time to pull out the jigs required to cut a straight line and the trusty old circular saw that I need to cut out the shape for the top of the workbench, which is a shameless segue regarding the sponsor of today's video, me. Righto, time for a quick quiz. Hands up if you have a little bit of fear and trepidation when it comes time to using the trusty old circular saw. I don't blame you. It's noisy, it has a blade that spins very quickly, and it has these very sharp teeth that can do a lot of damage to you and the piece that you're working on in the blink of an eye, which is why I created the much needed and requested Circular Saw for Beginners Masterclass. By taking the Masterclass, you'll come away with a newfound confidence when it comes to everything circular saw related, from learning all the basics of the individual circular saw features, right up to being able to safely and effectively use the saw with the confidence of a seasoned pro. Okay, so what's included with the Masterclass? Well, you get 7 information-packed teaching modules, including 11 instructional videos. You get 2 bonus project plans that are perfect for the workshop, valued at $15. That's a bargain right there. You get access to the exclusive members-only Facebook group, and you'll have access to 10% off all of my Etsy woodworking plans. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You'll also get your hands dirty with a project to build using your circular saw. And look, if I had a set of steak knives, I'd throw them in as well. So let's get you started. Conquer your fear and learn how to use the circular saw safely and more efficiently by clicking on the link in the description box down below. You'll be glad you did. And make sure you use coupon code CIRCSAW20 at checkout for a further 20% off an already incredibly low price. It's virtually free and an absolute no-brainer. Look forward to seeing you over in the Masterclass. Now with the bench top sorted, we just need to cut 4 strips that are going to create the apron around the bench, and I'll make them 75mm wide so that we can use a clamp on the bench when needed. The strips also beef up the edge of the bench top, and I think it looks better as well. And just because it's the workshop or the garage doesn't mean that it has to look shabby. Oh my god, I've just had a really great idea. For all of you guys out there in tiny homeland, this could be an ideal solution to your dining table dilemmas. And if you were a bit creative, unlike myself, you could turn the underside of that table into an artwork of some sort, which looks really cool when folded up and stored away. You're welcome. Now with that apron strip neatly screwed down, it's time to cut and attach the framework that goes underneath the bench top. Now personally, I'm not a fan of exposed end grain, so cut 45-degree angles on the ends of the frames for a neater finish. And to attach the frame to the bench top, I'm using good old pocket holes. That way you don't need to screw down through the top of the workbench and into the frame. Now, as well as those pocket screws, don't forget to add some glue to the corner along with some screws for an ultra strong joint. You don't want this bench to fall apart. Next on the agenda is we need to cut the timber for the legs, which will be glued and screwed together. Now, when screwing the legs, I like to drive the screws in on the inside of that leg. That way you won't see the screws when the legs are unfolded. And I think that just looks a little bit neater. And then once everything is screwed together, then you can cut those legs to length. Hey, since we've been talking about garages, how's this? A few weeks ago, a good mate of mine hires this blonde painter to paint his porch. Anyway, he tells her that the paint, the brushes and the ladder, well, they're all in the garage. So off she goes, and anyway, about 30 minutes later, knock on the door, and there's the blonde painter. And she says, "I'm done, finished." And my mate says, "Oh, that was quick. Did you have enough paint?" And she says, "Yep. Enough for 2 coats actually." And my mate goes, "God, a bit surprised about that." Anyway, he pays her and he thanks her, and as the blonde is walking away, she turns back and she says, "By the way, it's a Ferrari, not a porch." Lordy, lordy, lordy. And, by the way, nothing against blondes. I love blondes. Now, because our workbench has legs that fold up as well as down, just like that, we need to cut an arc on the end of the leg to enable that to happen. And to cut that arc, just make a series of cuts with either your miter saw or circular saw, which you should be able to get pretty close. Then just pull out your trusty old sander and finish it off. Now look, I know it looks a bit tricky, but you'll be surprised at just how easy it is. For the leg to be able to pivot on an axis, drill a hole for the pivot bolt and make sure when drilling the hole through the leg that you attack it from both sides to prevent any excessive splintering as the drill exits the hole. Then just simply clamp the leg in place, drive in the bolt courtesy of a few love taps from your hammer, and then firmly tighten the leg to the frame with a nut and washer. Too easy. Now, to stop the legs from overextending when unfolded, you just need to add a top leg brace, which will act as a brake. Just square up those beautiful legs with a builder's square and screw on the leg brace. Nothing complicated here, folks. Just how I like it. Now, using my awesome little magnetic stud finder, which I'll leave a link to down below by the way, I've located the wall studs that we are going to attach the bottom ledger board to, which is super important as this ledger board will be supporting the weight of the bench, and the same method is then applied to the top lockdown board. Now, with the workbench safely on top of that ledger board, to attach the bench to the wall, all you need to do is screw a continuous hinge, also known as a piano hinge, to the underside of the bench and the top of the ledger board. Too easy? Lemon squeezy. Okay folks, time for the moment of truth. Fingers crossed, let's see if this works. Drum roll please, maestro. Down she goes. And there you have it. What an absolute little ripper. And then to fold this back up against the wall, just simply reverse the process. It folds up very easily. Then just lock it against the wall so it doesn't fall down, and there you have it. How simple is that? And there's all your lack of space-related problems solved right there. And the great news is that you now have yourself a strong, sturdy workbench to work off, that you can make to basically any length you like, and the bonus is that you now have space in the garage to park the car where it's meant to be in the first place. So if you're interested in making one of these space-saving beauties, I'll leave a link to the plans down below, so do yourself a favour and check those out. Alrighty, after all that, I think I need a cup of tea. So till next time, be good, be safe, and I'm out of here. Cheers.